Now that we've talked about what the command line is and why it's important and useful, let's actually learn how to use it. So I'm going to start by introducing a few of the most important commands which have to do with navigating files and folder structures. And to do that, we need to have a few files that we can interact with and folders to navigate through. So I'm going to create a new folder here. In Cloud9, I'll go over to my workspace here and right click and click on New Folder. And that creates a new folder inside of my Web Dev Bootcamp, which is the name of my workspace. Everything we do will be a folder inside of Web Dev Bootcamp. So I'm going to make a new folder here and just call it Intro to Command Line. And this is where we'll make some of our files and practice some of the command line basics. So I'll make that, and then inside of Intro to Command Line, I'm going to right click on that and click New File. And we'll just call this message, and we'll make it a txt file, just text, just like that. And then I'm going to double click on that file and just add a quick message in there. And it can be anything we want. Hello from the message.txt file. And we'll save it. You can see that it's unsaved because I get this little circle right there. And when it's saved, you'll see that it goes away. To save it though, I can either do File, Save, or I can use the shortcut that it shows next to it. So for me, that's Command S. So I'll do that now, Command S. You can see that that little circle that was there is gone now. So I've saved the file. Now that I have a folder and a single file inside of it that I created with my mouse by right-clicking, which I did not use the command line to do any of that. Now that we have a folder and a file to work with, let's talk about the command line and how we can use the command line to interact with those directories and the file. So I'm going to go to the command line here. The first thing I want to demonstrate is a command called ls. So we type the letters L and S, no spaces, just ls, and hit enter. And what it shows us is all of the contents of the current folder that we're inside of. And the current folder I'm inside of is called Workspace. As you can see here, Workspace is a little weird, but think of it, it's the top level. It's the highest up we can go in our entire workspace is this Workspace folder. And it shows me, this little message right here says I'm in Workspace. So ls stands for list, and it just shows me all the files and folders of my current folder. And I'm currently right here, and so all that I can see is Intro to Command Line. So I'll type it one more time, ls, and I get a folder here called Intro to Command Line. The next important command is cd, and what cd lets us do is change directories. It's how I could go inside of Intro to Command Line. To use cd, we type the letters C and D, space, and then the name of the folder or directory that we want to change into. So we have to tell it the name of the folder. So we can hit ls again, and you'll see that Intro to Command Line is now spelled correctly, whereas before, when I hit ls, it was showing me the old file name or the old directory name, and then I changed it. So I typed ls again, and this just shows me what it is now. So to change directory, I need to type cd and then Intro to Command Line. Make sure it's spelled correctly and is capitalized the same way. And then I'll hit enter. And you'll see that my prompt changes. Now it shows that I'm inside of Workspace / Intro to Command Line. Inside of Intro to Command Line, if I want to list the files and directories, I just type ls again and hit enter. And now you can see that I'm listing all the files and there's only one, message.txt. And I can click on message.txt here and click open. And it opens it up here for me, and it's already open, so if I close out of it, and now I click on message.txt and click open, it opens it for me, and I can edit it if I want. Let's add in goodbye and save, and we can close out. Now let's create another file inside of Intro to Command Line, and I'm just going to go over here again and right click and go to New File, and the file I'm going to create is called hello.html and hit enter. Now if I come here and I type ls, you can see that I have a hello.html, and I'm going to open that in my editor, and I'll add in some simple HTML. Just like that. And save. And close out of it. So if I hit ls again, I still have two files. If I go over here, you can see the exact same files and structure. Basically, it's just another interface. Here I'm doing it through text and the command line. Here I'm viewing things as a folder structure, similar to the Finder window on a Mac. To go backwards a folder or up one level, so I'm inside of Intro to Command Line, and if I wanted to then be here, I can use cd again, but I don't have a folder name to type. I type cd space ... And you can see when I do that, I was in Intro to Command Line. Now I'm just in Workspace. So cd ... takes me back one level, and if I type ls now, you can see I'm back here where the only folder is Intro to Command Line. So I can cd back in, cd Intro to Command Line, type ls, you can see the two files there, hello.html, message.txt. Let's create a new folder. So right click, new folder, and we'll just call it colors. So a folder called colors, and hit enter. Now if I hit ls here, you can see I have message.txt, hello.html, and a directory called colors. And notice how it changes the color of a directory. It makes it blue and adds the slash afterwards so that we can tell if something is a folder or if it's a file. And then I could also cd into colors, just like that, and hit enter. And if I type ls, there's nothing here because there are no files. So one more time, I'll make a new file, right click, new file, and we'll call this red.txt. And now if I type ls, you can see I get red.txt. And then I can back out one level, cd ... and I'm now in Intro to Command Line right here. So I was right here, now I'm here. So if I type ls, I see the colors directory, hello.html, message.txt, and if I do cd ... one more time, I'm now back in the workspace, where if I type ls, all I see is Intro to Command Line. You might be thinking that it's a pain to have to type Intro to Command Line if I want to change directory. I have to type the whole thing, cd Intro to Command Line, just like that. But there's actually a much quicker way. So if I cd back out and I type ls, it's still there. I can type cd and start to type the name and then hit tab, and it automatically completes it for me. So that makes it really fast. So for instance, if I wanted to cd into Intro to Command Line, I can just type cdi and hit tab. And then if I want to go into colors, I can just do cd colors or cdc and hit tab, and it auto completes for me. So it is a little faster than it might seem up front. And once you master this, once you get comfortable with the commands, you can do them very quickly. I know you may not believe me right now because it's definitely slower, especially the pace that we're going at. But when you start out, it always feels slower, and it always is slower. My students always complain without fail in the first few weeks that the command line is never going to be useful for them. It will never become second nature. And then after using it for a few weeks, it really clicks, and they never go back. Even the people who felt the strongest about not using it, after I had forced them to use it and I did some exercises and they saw everyone else using it, just after a few weeks, everyone's a convert. There's one thing I didn't show, which is that you can also do ls on a folder that you're not inside of. So I'm currently inside of Intro to Command Line. If I wanted to see what's inside of colors, I can type ls colors. And it shows me that red.txt is inside of colors. And then there's cd, change directory, and I can do cd space and the name of a directory like colors. And you can see my prompt changes. And if I type ls here, I get red.txt, and I can do cd ... to go back one level. So now I'm on Intro to Command Line one more time, and now I'm on Workspace. In the next video, we're going to see how we can create files and directories from the command line rather than having to right click over here and click on new folder or new file. We'll do it from the command line.